Hello dear kids, welcome back to the social science class. We have learned in the previous chapter, that is early stage, that rituals and sacrifice became very popular or became very common to acquire control. But very soon, some 2600 years ago, philosophers began questioning the prevalence of excessive rituals and sacrifices in the society, right? Then contrary to earlier belief, they laid stress on the value of knowledge. And these thinkers began questioning the sacrifices and asked why should it be performed at all. And they were also concerned about the question of life after death. And they realized that there was something permanent in the universe, such as Atman or the individual soul, and the Brahman or the universal soul that lasts even after death. So dear kids, today in this chapter, Rise of New Religions, we are going to discuss about the philosophies of the Upanishads. What were the causes that led to the rise of new religious sects, and about the founder of Jainism and Buddhism and their teachings, and what were the similarities and differences between Buddhism and Jainism. So let's move forward to the chapter. So this is the mind map of our chapter, Rise of New Religions. First and foremost, we will discuss about the Upanishads and the 6 schools of Indian philosophy, and then we will move to the rise of new religious sects like Jainism and Buddhism, and at the end we will discuss about the similarities and differences between Jainism and Buddhism. So let's move to the first one, Upanishads. Do you know what is Upanishads? Yes, the word Upanishad is derived from the terms Upa. Upa means very near, Ni means down, and Shad means to sit. Upa, Ni, Shad, near, down, to sit. So meaning thereby sitting down near. Groups of peoples sat near the teacher to learn from him the secret doctrine. Thus, the Upanishads were recorded in the form of dialogues between teachers and students. They are also known as, or they are known as, the part of the later Vedic text. And there are approximately 108 Upanishads. Okay, and some of the important ones are Katha, then Prashna, then Taittiriya, then Chandogya, and Brihadaranyaka Upanishads. These are the some famous Upanishads. And the authors of most of the Upanishads were men, especially Kshatriyas. They are the kings, right? Or the Brahmins. They are considered as priests. Yes. And we do also find few women thinkers such as Gargi, who is famous for her learning, and she also participated in debates held in royal courts. And we hardly get any references to poor people participating in philosophical discussions. Okay, Satyakama Japala is one exception, although, who was accepted as a student by a Brahmin teacher named Gautama. And he emerged as one of the well-known thinkers of the time. Many of the ideas of Upanishads were later assimilated and popularized by Shankaracharya. Do you know Shankaracharya? Yeah, he is a famous philosopher in Kerala in 8th century, or he is an 8th century philosopher. Got it? So this is what all about Upanishads. So let's move to the next, rise of new religious sects. First and foremost, we will discuss about Jainism. Many of the philosophies and ideas related to Jainism were in circulation in the 7th century BCE. Remember, 7th century BCE. However, it was Vardhaman Mahavira who gave them a definite shape in the 6th century BCE. His teachings led to the rapid growth and spread of the Jaina sect. Let us learn about Mahavira. Yes, Mahavira, a Licchavi prince, left his home at the age of 30. For 12 years, he led a hard and lonely life. And in his 13th year of asceticism, asceticism means what, you know? Asceticism? Yes, it is a practice of denial of physical or or psychological desires in order to attain a spiritual ideal or God. Okay, so in the 13th year of his asceticism, he attained enlightenment or nirvana. He became a worthy, okay, and a conqueror. Yes, and he attained perfect knowledge or kaivalya, perfect knowledge or kaivalya, through which he conquered misery and happiness. He spent the remaining years of his life in preaching his religious ideas in Magadha and Anga. And let us learn about the teachings of Jainism. First and foremost, you have to remember or you have to learn the 5 doctrines of Jainism. Do you know what are the 5 doctrines of Jainism? Yes, the first one is do not commit violence. Do not commit violence. Second is do not speak a lie. Do not speak a lie. Then do not steal. You shall not steal. And do not acquire property. Then observe celibacy. Do you know what is celibacy? Celibacy means the state of not being married. Yes. So these are the 5 doctrines of Jainism. Please learn it well. And it is said that only the 5th doctrine was added by Mahavira. Only that 5th doctrine, which was that observe celibacy. It was added by Mahavira. The other 4 being taken over by him from previous teachers. And the followers of Mahavira are known as what? The Jainas. Yes. He asked his followers to discard clothes completely and live a more austere. Austere means what? Giving little or no scope for pleasure. Okay, so he asked his followers to live a more austere life. Then they had to observe all the 5 doctrines in their lives. And the vow of non-killing was practiced the maximum, and non-violence was a ritual for the Jainas. And in Jainism, the spiritual leaders or the teachers are known as what? Tirthankaras. Okay, Tirthankaras. Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankara. And in later centuries, Jainism was divided into 2 groups or 2 sects, Digambaras and Shvetambaras. The Digambaras were ardent followers of Mahavira and lived a austere life. They chose not to wear clothes. And the Shvetambaras wore a white dress and covered their mouth with a piece of white cloth. And the early Jainas discarded the Sanskrit language mainly. Then they patronized by the Brahmins and they taught their doctrines in Prakrit, the language of the common people. And the adoption of Prakrit by the Jainas helped the growth of this language and its literature. Okay, so we are moving to the next, that is Buddhism. Let us learn about Buddha. Siddhartha or Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, was the son of the chief of the Republican tribe of Sakyas. And the Buddha or the enlightened one was born in 566 BCE, almost 2500 years ago, at where? Lumbini. Buddha left his life of a prince and abandoned his family in search of true knowledge. And he practiced asceticism for 6 years and then eventually attained salvation through meditation. And he attained enlightenment under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar and understood the cause of suffering in the world. And Buddha preached his first sermon in Sarnath. Remember, this is very important. The place where he preached his first sermon is Sarnath. And his sermon was called the turning of the wheel of law or Dharma Chakra Pravartana. Okay. And for about 45 years, he kept on wandering, preaching and meditating continuously. Then he passed away in 483 BCE at Kushinagara. And let us see the teachings of Buddha, what he taught us. The teachings of Buddha were practical and simple, which took note of the realities of the day. The doctrine of karma, karma means good or bad action. The doctrine of karma was essential to the Buddhist philosophy. Buddha believed that our actions, whether good or bad, influence us in the life and all the next ones. And the Buddha taught in the language of the ordinary people, that is Pali, so that everybody could understand his message. And as a result of organized preaching under the auspices means what? Support. So with the support of the Sangha, Buddhism made rapid strides even in the lifetime of Buddha. Then the monarchies of Magadha, Kosala and Kausambi and several republic states and their people adopted this religion. And there were some special features of Buddhism which made it popular and different from existing religions. And we should learn always one thing, that is the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. Let us see what are they. Buddha's teaching are represented by Four Noble Truths. First one is, the world is full of sorrow. This world is full of sorrow, dukkha. Then the cause of sorrow is desire or thirst, thana. And this sorrow can be stopped. This sorrow can be ended. How? Following eightfold path. Do you know what are the eightfold path? Yes. Let us see the first one. Right faith, then right thought, right speech, right action, right living, right efforts and right remembrance, and the last eighth one is right meditation. So these are the eightfold path. Through this we can stop all the sorrows in this world. Okay. So let us move to the next topic, that is Viharas and Sangha. You know what is Vihara and Sangha? Monastic orders were an inherent feature of both Buddhism and Jainism. When the monks wandering from place to place, preaching and seeking alms, were arranged to stay together in the Sangha. Later, monasteries or viharas were built near towns, thereby facilitating the collection of alms. Yes, and the only condition required to the monks was that they would faithfully observe the rules and regulations of the Sangha, an association of those who left their homes to join Buddhism. Okay, and around the time when the above listed scholars or the thinkers or the philosophers were becoming popular, Brahmins advocated a system of ashrama with 4 stages, okay, in long journey of human's life. So Brahmana said that in our human journey, it's a long journey, they have 4 stages. Everyone should be going through 4 stages. The first one is Brahmacharya, a stage when a person obtains knowledge by studying the Vedas. And the second is Grihastha, a stage when individual gets married and starts her or his household life, that is Grihastha. And the third one is Vanaprastha. In this stage, an individual lives in forest and meditates. And the last is sannyasa, a stage of renouncing the world and living the life of an ascetic. Okay, ascetic. So, 4 stages: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa. And the last, we will discuss the similarities and differences between Jainism and Buddhism. First, let us see the similarities. What are the similarities between Jainism and Buddhism? Both were started by the member of Kshatriya or members of Kshatriya Varna. Okay. Then both opposed Brahminical supremacy, and they admitted people from lower caste and women. Then they both attracted the lower Varnas, particularly the Vaishyas or traders. Then both were simple religions without any elaborate or expensive rituals and practices. Very simple it was. And they taught in the language of the masses, the local language. They taught the people with the local language like Pali and Prakrit. And what are the differences between Jainism and Buddhism? Yes, Buddha stayed away from discussions on God, and while Mahavira denied the existence of God altogether. Then Jainism laid undue stress on non-violence, while Buddhism avoided extremes. Okay. Then Jainism laid more emphasis on austerity than as compared to Buddhism. Then Buddhism did not preach its followers to give up all the use of clothes, unlike Jainism. Okay. Then the Buddhism spread beyond India, while Jainism remained confined to the certain areas in India itself. Then Buddhism attacked the Varna system, while Jainism was not that vocal in its protest. Okay. So, let us have a recap of our chapter. We have learned that the period around the emergence of the Janapadas saw the coexistence of several belief systems: Brahminism, Buddhism and Jainism. Then we learned about the Upanishads. Yes, the Upanishads are regarded as a source of Indian philosophy. Then in opposition to the Brahminical teachings, there emerged several new religion sects. What are they? Jainism and Buddhism mainly. And Mahavira laid stress on a simple and austere life. Then Mahavira asked people to avoid violence, then not to speak lie, not to steal, not to acquire property and to observe continence, all those things, right. Then the Buddhism founded by Gautama Buddha also had simple teachings. Then Buddha suggested 4 noble truths and an 8-fold path to overcome sorrow and attain salvation. So, learn well, take care, bye bye.